Hey, it's the Husker247 Daily, Thursday, October 30th edition. Michael Bruntz here, Brian Christopherson over there. Still getting you charged up and ready for Nebraska's Saturday night matchup with USC under the lights. Brian, we haven't talked a ton about the quarterbacks specifically this week on this little show. Kind of going into this game, who do you think of the two quarterbacks needs to play the best in order for their team to have a chance?
I would say Dylan. I think the odds. If you look at the lines, USC is favored by 6.5. I kind of understand that based off the body of work so far. So kind of considering that, I always look at the QB of the team that's maybe considered the underdog and see it as he's got to have that one extra series or that one more play that the other guy doesn't have. Or usually in the case of quarterbacks, as you know, Brunts, it's like avoiding the bonehead play that really cost you. And so I think one thing Dylan's really excelled at and why you have some hope for Saturday night is he's done really well at leaving the tough stuff behind in a game. When you think about Maryland, when he had the 3 interceptions and then was able to manufacture the game-winning drive. And then last week against, Northwestern, had the bad pick, got it right back, and then played his best football with Holgorsen. That was his best drive. So I think that mentality that he has gives him a chance to definitely be that guy on Saturday night. But I do think this is the game where Dylan's got to be that dude a little bit. Like, I know you're going to lean heavily on number 21, Emmett. We've said that all week. But it's going to be like one of those games where can Dylan just be clutch on 3rd and 5 throughout? You kind of get 4 or 5 of them in one quarter or something, and it leads you to 10 or 14 points. I think he's going to have to be like that. How about you? Where are you at on it?
Yeah, I'd lean Dylan. And I think part of it in my mind is it feels like there's a little bit more of, in spite of USC being down a couple running backs, like it feels like what's around each of the quarterbacks, I'm willing to believe a little bit more in USC's running game right now than I am in Nebraska's. And I think that's where the margin for error is just a little bit easier over on the USC sideline in this one. But I was going to ask you your follow-up because I think you can probably take this any number of ways, but when you get to the end of this game on Saturday, and let's say Nebraska wins, and you're looking down the stat column, where is your eyes going first for, like, okay, Dylan had a really good game? Is it just simply like you make a couple big touchdown throws? Is it third down stuff? Like, what are you looking at in this game as, like, Dylan's got to be really dialed in here?
It's 3rd down and it's 0 in the interception column. It's like that, he hit at like a 70% clip and there's a 0 in that pick spot, maybe 2 TDs on the other end. I think it's 3rd down as much as anything, though, because I feel like a lot of those conversions, if they occur, are going to have to be off his arm. I don't think it's going to be like a lot of, like, you're picking it up on 3rd and 2 run type situations, maybe a couple of those, but that's where I'd probably go to the 3rd down. And you could probably, I'm using the whole stat sheet now as I like to do with stuff.
Just keep going down.
And I'd also look at the red zone. I think you kind of connect that a little bit to that 3rd down. You get a few of those, but can Nebraska like bat a really nice percentage in TD percentage down there? They did it really well against Northwestern, and Northwestern did not do it well. USC has a really good red zone defense, so that's going to be a big part. If Dylan, and I've said this on our Hypecast, if Dylan and Isaiah Dane or Ja'Cory can connect on like one of those touchdowns where a guy gets a foot down, in the end zone, it's not going to be easy. They're not going to just gift wrap you a TD. It's going to have to be a nice throw, nice catch, something like that's going to have to happen. So I think you're looking at 3rd down and red zone. That's my final answer.
You circled the helipad a little bit, but you got it on the ground. So, I mean, if you were like waving a magic wand and you're like, this one guy has just a spectacular game for Nebraska? Is it Dylan? Is it somebody else that is more of a key for
Mm,
Nebraska winning this game individually than just Dylan having a really good night?
I think it's still EJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think if Emmett just has one of those days where it's like, oh, they can't, he's making a miss. Like he missed 10 guys missed him last week. You know, if he's having one of those days and you see like early on, he gets a third down for you where doesn't look like it's there, but they're moving the sticks. I think that's it. So I'd probably say Emmett one, Dylan the close second. And then there's got to be, I don't care which wide receiver it is, but someone's going to have that explosive play at some moment where they turn the routine into a long touchdown, as Dana has talked about all offseason, really.
Did you even consider anybody defensively there? Is there like one defensive player where you're like, okay, this guy can have a monster game and kind of change the complexion of this one?
I think Javen Wright's a key guy to spotlight because you think there was a good question asked to Butler about their 12 personnel and the trick of defending that. And I'm sure USC has looked at the tape and thought we can get some stuff done against those linebackers in space. And so Shavers, Watson, Trent, Wright, they all got to play well. But Wright's been that guy who, he had double digit tackles like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Last week, he forced the big incompletion on fourth down and had the pick. He only played 22 snaps, though. And within his answer about Javen Wright this week, Butler did mention, yeah, he's been dinged up a little bit. So I think that's going to be a key. Like, if he can go like sort of how he has in other games where he's out there a ton and just being that versatile guy he is, as, a guy who can cover tight ends, guy who can get after the quarterback, all that.
Like I understand it's not like you don't play football in a vacuum, but I mean, is this game more about the offense or the defense in your mind?
I think honestly, I think I would tip toward Nebraska's offense. Maybe this discussion where how we started it is shading me that way, but I think there was a belief going into this season that with Dana, having the full time to set up what they want to do this year and Dylan in year two, they could be that crew that could score 31 points in a game like this and get you over the top. And sometimes it's been choppy. And then there's the one you just like to completely throw out against Minnesota, but they still are averaging 35 points per game. And their numbers are up. Like I looked the other day, they're 37th in yards per play, I think. And that's a dramatic increase from last year. So there's been some good in there too. But this is sort of that game where you'd love to see it. Well, let's circle back to the beginning with Dylan. It's like that he's a high profile guy, high profile game. You just love to see him, be clutch throughout, kind of avoid that 1 or 1.5 bad quarters that has sort of plagued this team, I think, a little bit. And so I'll go offense to your question.
Is it a game where do you see a scenario where Nebraska wins a game against USC where both teams are in the 30s?
I think it's possible. I mean, I see this game one way or another as like 31-27-ish. I don't know how you see it. So I think it could be that. I think I understand the question. I'm not trying to get in your head, but um, you do have to be cognizant of the fact, like you it's a common thing to say you don't want to get in a track meet with the team.
I think I've said
but
that like 3 or 4 times this week already, but
but no,
yeah,
it makes
yeah,
sense. But they're an explosive group. I mean, Mekhi Lemon is like not just an all conference receiver. He's like possibly first team, all American. Like
hmm
he's legit really good. And so they're gonna make their plays. And so I do think it is key, kind of. I think this is connected to your question that Nebraska maybe has at least that one drive where they almost have to work for it. And at times it feels like it's difficult, but they somehow get it done, like a 12-play drive where
yeah.
there are 3 third downs and you chewed up like 6.5 minutes of the game and they had to sit over by the Gatorade bucket and all that stuff. I think that would go a long way if there's that one drive like placed like in the second or third quarter that Nebraska had and kind of disrupts their flow a little bit on offense. But I still see it as sort of I don't know, 31-27-ish thing.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I mean, the pace of the game, I think is going to be a fascinating thing because, like you said, if you have one of those like 6-minute drives where it looks clunky at times, but you find a way to kind of move the ball and get some points out of it. I mean, that feels like a really big deal. It's like running the
Yeah.
shot clock down in a really back and forth game.
And a guy hits a 30-foot three or something. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and there's those moments, there's going to be something like they get a bad penalty or something, and you get that reprieve or whatever on one drive. It's like that. There's going to be that possession, and when it happens, that's where Nebraska, I think, has to hammer it down. I also hope they're not looking at it exactly like I think we talk about it sometimes, where you feel like we talk about like Nebraska's got to have this one moment. Like you don't want their mindset going into the game exactly thinking like that, though.
Well, we hope they don't. That's it for the Thursday Husker 24/7 Daily. We'll hear from Matt Rule later this morning as they kind of not completely wrap up, but start to put a bow on preparation for USC. Keep it locked on Husker 24/7 for all the latest from that and everything going into Saturday night's game.